All right. Hello, everybody. Gonna be trying something new here today. Coming at you live in this gorgeous pink suit here. Um, Basically, what I want to do today is discuss some of the things going around on the internet. You know, like basically any other commentary channel here on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or wherever the hell you're watching this. But I found something
All we
yesterday
could do.
by Moist Critical. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'll pause it every now and then, give you my 2 cents every here and there. You can agree with me, you could disagree with me, you can tell me why, what's going on, but either way, I just want to give you my take, and uh, yeah, let's get to it.
Yesterday, we were blessed with an action packed evening of internet drama that had me on the edge of my seat for the better part of 2 hours. And I actually think there's something very important to discuss here. Not so much with the soap opera itself between the two parties, but there was a little something that slipped during all of this that I think is a really big deal that I want to talk about. Now, I'll go ahead and break down the situation for you in case you weren't on Twitter, and if you weren't, God bless you. Keep up the great work. You're doing amazing, champ. Now, it all started on Twitter, but it did spread to Twitch with competing live streams where one side was giving their take on the situation and the other side trying to debunk it. So, it spread like a virus. And it all started with a series of tweets from a content creator named Frosty. He came out with a series of tweets making big accusations against his former employer, 100 Thieves, basically just putting his ass in their face, making all kinds of big claims like them taking 95.
All right, so let's uh, let's dive a little bit into this tweet here. So from Jake Lucky, like Moist Critical just said, former mob member Frosty has spoken up a lot about his past situation with 100 Thieves, saying they were paid less than what their rent was. 100T took 95% of sponsorship deals that they brought to the mob, money being a real issue for the guys, among other things. So, um, looks like what we've got down here is a few posts from Frosty himself, breaking down in his own opinion what was going on, maybe what's actually going on. So, looks like 2,500 each in rent a month while only getting paid 1650. So there were many days where we had to skip meals because we couldn't afford to buy food unless we begged our parents to send us money. It's truly a wonder way, Mako. Wonder. I'm assuming that's supposed to say why. Mako wanted to leave the mob and move back with his family. So it sounds like they're being underpaid, but to give you an idea where they're at, they're in West Los Angeles, I think it was, which is going to be a relatively expensive city regardless for cost of living because LA is basically the epicenter for Twitch and YouTubers. They all tend to move out that way just to try to move up the ladder. So, yeah, of course, everything's going to inflate, well, prices and things like that. So, um, yeah, it looks like they came up really short in rent monthly. Imagine we had enough money to where we didn't have to stress over where our next meal was coming from. Should have done some big things, but I guess we'll never know. Me being young and dumb put all the blame on myself. Thinking about it now, I see how they took complete advantage of us, and these tweets aren't even half of it. Remember when Tifu complained about FaZe taking 80% of his sponsorship money? Try 95%. LMFAO. So, just sounds like Frosty here is airing out some grievances on the internet. Pretty commonplace these days, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, if there are legitimate issues here, the only reason I could imagine them airing it out on the internet is for some kind of recognition. Um, they want to be noticed and they want people to know what's going on. So let's dive a little further into this.
5% of sponsorship deals, as well as a myriad of other problems that he had with the organization. I'm sure I don't need to explain who 100 Thieves is to you. They're one of the biggest names in gaming. But I'll go ahead and give you a brief lore recap just in case my grandma's watching and doesn't know who 100 Thieves is. 100 Thieves is a pro gaming organization started by a massive content creator named Nadeshot. They've been around for about 4.5 years now, and they have really taken the scene by storm. They have pro gaming teams as well as big content creators, and Frosty was part of one of their content creator teams called The Mob. The Mob sailed away from 100 Thieves some time ago, but Frosty's...
Actually, let me cut you off there, Charlie. If you do ever see this, I want one of these. Okay? I want one of these. Make it happen. Okay.
now come out with big claims against the org, talking about how shady and shitty they were. And in response to these tweets, Nadeshot, the founder of 100 Thieves, went live on Twitch to address the controversy directly. And I know Nadeshot doesn't own Arby's, but he brought the meat regardless. He spent about an hour and a half finely pan-searing Frosty's cheeks in front of 45,000 people. It was a pretty well done response to everything, and I do like Nadeshot. However, he said something and revealed something that a lot of people are writing off as okay when I don't think it should be. And that's the percentage that 100 Thieves takes of the sponsorship deals they bring to the creators. This is him debunking the 95% claim from Frosty.
That we took 95% of their sponsorship deals that we brought to the mob. That is unequivocally, undeniably, without a shadow of a doubt, untrue. It is absolutely untrue. There is no basis for Frosty to say this. At one point, I have an email that the key terms of these deals that we bring to the mob, we would retain 85% of revenue. We did 3 deals for them, and two out of the 3 deals, they took home 65% of the revenue from that deal. Okay, 65% of the revenue from that deal.
To me, that's not an amazing look. This is entirely wrong. This is the biggest load of fucking horseradish I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where this 95% number's coming from. It's actually 85. You know, like, that's not much better. Wiggling your finger, well, actually, it's 85% that we'll take up to. Now, Nadeshot, of course, does go a bit deeper into the weeds of it, saying that they did end up giving 65% to the mob for, like, one of their deals in particular, which was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with 120 grand, which means 100 Thieves took 80 grand. They got 35%. And that's still an outrageous amount. I have seen so many people defending this number, saying shit like, well, they wouldn't have had the sponsorships without 100 Thieves, so they're entitled to 85%. And they were generous enough to only take 35. That is a fat, stinky L of a take right there. That kind of naive mentality is exactly why so many creators have been getting fucked in the face for the last 10 years online. Most creators, professional gamers, streamers, whatever, are pretty young, and they don't realize that they shouldn't be signing contracts that have something that extreme in them, like up to 85% we can retain from sponsorships. Even if it said like 35%, that's still a glaring red flag. They don't realize they're being exploited like that. Now, I don't think Nadeshot is doing this maliciously. This is just how the industry has been for about a decade, where the big businesses know that these people are young enough to not make a big hoopla about the sponsorship cut that they take, because to them, they're just making content, doing what they love, and getting some free money on the side because a company's finding ads for them. And then they'll take the lion's share of the ads when really they shouldn't. I think that's an absolute load of fucking dirty barnacles. You know, that's
So I actually agree with this take here. Taking away that they take that 95%, even if he's right and Nadeshot is saying, no, we're only taking 85. Yeah, that's fucking horrible. Of course they're not going to get a living wage off of that. They're not seeing most of the money they just made for this company. Um, Personally, I think if you're representing a company, that company I don't think should even be allotted over 30% of it really, because they aren't the talent, they're scouting the talent. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like when you have a manager or something that's literally doing nothing. They have a couple connections, but um, in the long scape of things, they're not doing anything. Yeah, they call someone every now and then, but the talent should be paid a majority because they're the ones making that money. So take someone like Nadeshot. Yeah, he's a super popular streamer, gamer. Um, but if he's not the one at that tournament, he shouldn't be seeing most of that money. That should be going to the talent so that they're making a livable wage to keep making money for this company and living comfortably. Um, And again, Charlie's right. You know, most of these pro gamers, with the generation we have now, it's like, I think it was like 18 to 25 is the average age of most of these gamers. And if you've never had any kind of a job, you've never been in management, you're not gonna know how these figures actually work out. If you're being ripped off, um, if anything, you know, they should be seeing at least a per diem for going to these places, and providing a content, whether it be professional gaming or whatever they do on their Twitch channel, as well as a percentage of the cut for whatever deal was made, which I think should be a larger slice of that pie. Um, Managers, they don't need to see as much. The ones that take more, they're money hungry. They're really only hurting themselves in order to further whatever, and then, you know, remove the talent and pick up new talent when they realize they are worth more money. Let's go ahead and continue.
real. That's absolute fish paste. So I don't think Nadeshot's doing this from a place of like evil or greed. I'm pretty certain this is what he's always seen in the industry since he's been in it so long. But that's not the way it should be. I've talked about this a lot. I started a company back in 2018 with Matt. I even made a whole video talking about it publicly. It's called Human Media Group. It's a management company where we manage hundreds of creators, some of the biggest names on the platform. We bring them brands, ad deals, campaigns, all that stuff in order to help them stay monetized and make a living out of the content they love to produce. We started it because of this being the industry norm. I made a lot of deals on like the podcast as well as personally that were really predatory, and I didn't know any better. So over time, I learned with Matt, and we started this company to try and help my friends, and then it grew into just helping any and all creators. And with Human Media Group, we take on average 15% of sponsorship deals we bring the creators, but sometimes we even go as low as 10%. So between 10 and 15% is the cut we take from the sponsorship deals we bring to them. And that should be the norm. You should never
Right there.
sign
It's like I
something
said.
or agree to do business with someone that's going to be taking 35 or 85%, allowed 85% in the contract. That's disgusting. That's fucking disgusting. The absolute maximum you should be okay with is like 20%. That is the most any agent or company should ever possibly even toy with taking from the sponsorship deals. And I do understand the take people keep tossing around and regurgitating like a fucking mama bird feeding the baby bird, just vomiting it into each other's mouths. The take of, you know, they wouldn't have the sponsorship deals without 100 Thieves. You're right, but that doesn't mean they're entitled to 85% or even 35%. They're not doing the bulk of the labor. The onus is on the creators. They're doing the heavy lifting. The reason the sponsorship deal's there at all is because the creator is there and they're buying the slot from them. What 100 Thieves is doing, or what any management company does, is they facilitate that deal. They negotiate, they get the terms, and they bridge that. They bridge the deal. You can find deals on your own as a creator. You know, you can reach out to companies yourself. Sometimes companies even reach out to you. The reason why 100 Thieves or any management company at all exists and is effective is because most big brands don't reach out to individuals and don't accept people individually. They will take their ad campaign and their marketing spend to agencies or companies that have a big roster, and they'll buy bulk. They'll say, we have this campaign for this demographic and we want this many viewers. Who do you have for us? And that's when the company will provide you, if you're part of their roster, like 100 Thieves. They'll throw your name in there, and if they say yes, then you've got the deal. It's not like they're doing anything that entitles them to such a crazy cut of the sponsorship deal. It's just a pretty ludicrous notion. Yes, the companies like 100 Thieves or any management company does have access to brands that individuals won't, but still, it doesn't mean that they should be taking such a crazy amount from you either.
One of those deals, they made $30,000 each. It was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with $120,000, I believe it was. Okay? And what you don't understand is that we have to employ a partnerships team that needs to go out and source these deals. Then you have account management that handles, once that deal is sold, account management coordinates with everybody else within the company, whether it's marketing, whether it's content, whether it's a deal that is done with talent. And we have to incur labor expenses to make these things a reality.
All of those things he mentions there, Human Media Group also has, and I assure you 15% is still profitable. It's plenty. It's not as profitable as 35 or 85%, but it is plenty. It's not necessary to be taking such a high cut of those sponsorship deals. Now, I do understand that 100 Thieves is not a management company first and foremost. They are a professional gaming organization. They have content creators. They have pro gamers. I understand that. But they do have that management arm clearly, since he's mentioning this team. So I know that 35% is still outrageous. And I do get the argument that will inevitably be made that they only have like 20 creators they're getting sponsorship deals for, whereas Human Media Group has hundreds. So, you know, just going by scale, taking 15% of hundreds of deals is more profitable than taking 15% of 20. And that's a fine argument to make, like, I get it. However, those 20 creators that 100 Thieves has are massive. He mentions a $200,000 deal. That's one campaign. If you took just 15% of that, that's 30 grand from a single marketing campaign with a single member of the 100 Thieves community there. One single group. That's a great take home. It's not as much as the 80 they did take home, but 30 is plenty. So I just completely disagree with all the people defending this 85%, which I think is indefensible. But even the people defending the 35%, I just think that is still excessive, and we need to get past this idea that the companies that are getting the sponsorship deals are the ones that deserve the biggest cut of it or a massive cut of it, because that's just not how it should be. It should be the creators getting the bulk of that deal, because the deal is there because the creator is there in the first place, right? Like, it's just, we're getting it backwards now. We're starting to go in reverse here. So I just wanted to get that point across, that I think 100 Thieves, if it's 85% for all their creators, is outrageous, or even 35%, it's way too high. Now, I do want to go into a bit more just to conclude the entire situation here with the drama. I think overall Nadeshot came out of this looking significantly better than Frosty. One of the big claims Frosty made is that they were completely broke when they were signed with 100 Thieves. They were forced to move to West LA, and their salary didn't enable them to like have any quality of life, talking about like having to skip meals sometimes to pay rent, and that they were living in a $10,000 a month house. And that is true. According to Nadeshot, they did get encouraged to go out to West LA. However, they chose the $10,000 house. And even on Frosty's own stream, He tried to make a point saying West LA is so expensive that, you know, all we could do was take a $10,000 house. But then he goes on Zillow and immediately proves himself wrong, just spits in his own face. He brings up other cheaper alternatives. There were some for like 5 or 6 grand a month.
I also just want to throw a quick plug in here. This happens more than most streamers would like to admit. They don't like to admit to doing the most minimal research before trying to prove themselves right on stream. So there are many occurrences where, like in this situation, West LA is so expensive they could only do the $10,000 a month house. No. I guarantee you there are plenty of houses around there as low as 2,000 a month. They just probably didn't like the neighborhood, or they didn't like the aesthetic of the house. They didn't like the size of the rooms. Like they want these mansions because, you know, pro gamers, but no, realistically 10,000 wasn't the best they could do. It never was. Anyway.
Month as opposed to 10K a month. So they were cheaper alternatives where they didn't have to dump their entire salary into rent. But overall, I don't think they should have been forced to go to LA in general. No one should be. LA sucks. I fucking hate LA. I'm just not a fan. I think it's way too expensive. Their salaries were $2,500 each, and that doesn't go a long way in LA, so I don't think they should have been forced to go there anyway, but they did make a mistake choosing such an expensive place to live.
I'm gonna touch on something else here real fast. So $2,500 a month is more than the average American makes, because there's still jobs out there. So take 2,500 a month, multiply it by 12. You're somewhere in the 30 to 35,000 a year range. Okay, so actually maybe it's closer to average, but you break that down, that's like what, $14, $15 an hour, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'm just spitballing here. But if you have 5 people under the same house making $2,500 a month, you're going to be more than comfortable depending on your choices. I think a lot of these people go out there, they don't know how to make sacrifices. They don't want to sacrifice things that are quality of life. They would rather have it easier. You know, this is their first real life experience, so of course it's going to be, oh, I want this, I want this, I need the nice car, I need the nice house. That's just not how the real world works, as much as we'd all like it to. So, I mean, there are plenty of wraparounds here, more than just what Charlie's telling, which I 100% agree with him. Everything he's saying, you know, he has a company, he's profitable at a 10 and 15% takes. So, yeah, let's dive a little bit further.
Shot said it was their choice to live there, and it was. He confirmed that there were cheaper alternatives that they didn't even consider, I guess. So overall, a lot of the responsibility fell on Frosty, and a lot of these claims seem to be baseless. But it's a lot of just he said, she said. But again, I think Nadeshot came out of this looking much better. I think he did a great job of defending himself, and Frosty kind of made a fool of himself, especially towards the end where he said this.
You literally provided no proof? Bro, because for me to provide proof, like, what is there to provide proof of? Like, why would I be lying? Like, I would have to show text messages. Like, this is what I mean, bro. This is why I wanted to wait.
You were the one that made the claims. You should have, like, something, I would expect. And what do you mean there's no reason for you to lie? You have plenty to gain out of lying. Well, you know, clout. You got, what, 30,000 concurrent viewers during your stream debunking it? And you hadn't streamed in 3 months, and before that we're averaging a couple hundred? Like, there was so much to gain out of a controversy like this. There's plenty of incentive to lie. At the very least, Nadeshot was open and honest about things, even something as bad as the 85% of the sponsorship deal thing. Nadeshot also pulled up metrics to talk about, like, how they weren't doing content and certain things. Nadeshot did come with receipts as well as, like, actual evidence to back up what he was saying to defend the company. Frosty spent the whole stream just saying stories and like talking about things in a roundabout way. A lot of times it just seemed like straight up entitlement, like he was expecting them to bend over backwards to do everything to make them happy at all hours of the day. So the stream didn't go super well for Frosty. I don't think he did a great job of like proving his claims. Maybe he'll come forward with like actual evidence to support these things in the future, but for now, it does look like Nadeshot like did the best here in this situation. I just wanted to talk about mainly the sponsorship thing since that's what I took a big issue with, not so much the drama between the two of them. So that's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he actually covered that really well, touched on pretty much anything I think anybody was thinking. I don't think that it's a popular agreement that someone like Nadeshot should be taking 80% of a sponsorship, whether he finds them or not, because even Charlie said, it's way more profitable, well, realistically, than it needs to be if he's trying to provide a team. You have to think of your team, not yourself. You're taking a bigger piece of that pie. That's less people that are gonna wanna work with you. You know, overall, nothing is probably gonna come of this though. Give it a week, nobody's gonna care anymore. It's typical internet drama. Just Nadeshot, if you ever see this, take better care of your guys. Charlie, if you see this, thanks. Thanks for making this video. I think you make it clear that they should be doing better. Take the greed out of business and provide so that um, this community can thrive. You know, that's pretty much all I got on that one. So um, let's go ahead and move into this next case here. What I really wanted to talk about is some stuff coming up for Pokemon Scarlet, or yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So let's see what we got going. Break it down, give you your opinion, tell you if it's hyped, if it's underhyped, overhyped, um, and what's really going on. So let's see what we got. So, first and foremost, don't let graphics be the factor on whether or not you buy this game. It's a Nintendo game. Nintendo, we all know, doesn't have the strongest hardware in the world. But it always delivers a quality game. Now, it does have a lot to avoid as far as, like when they released Gen 8, when they released Legends Arceus, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, all those. It just feels like a big lack in content. Like here we can see recycled movesets. So this just makes me think of the Crystal Beast in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think it's anything spectacular. It changes typings, which is going to make competitive battles, I'd say, not more competitive as much as they are just obnoxious. Um, but it seems like the new meta for this game is coming out with some kind of uh, enhancement to your team that's usually just allotted once per battle. Like Gen 6 had your Megas, Gen 7 had. Um, wow, I'm drawing a blank here. They had their Z moves. Gen 8 brought Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, which um, I think a lot of the Pokemon community would just like to see Megas come back. Because when you get down to it, it's much more simplistic, but it still works competitively. Um, Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, a lot of people will agree, ruin that game. Um, it forced players to use the same exact teams and lose creativity and what they wanted to do. Um, Z moves were just dumb. Just dumb. That's all I can say about those. I mean, Sun and Moon, huge flop. Huge flop. Um, so Gen 9, I'm going to be going into it with pretty low expectations. I've learned that lately not to set them that high because it's hard to um, ruin your experience if you don't set that bar too high. So what I'm seeing here isn't necessarily a buff as much as it is a type changing, which could be okay, or it could just be as lame as Dynamaxing, just where it ruins a meta because people will find the most broken way to use it, and then everybody will emulate that, and nothing will be original again. So let's get a little further. And overall, the design of it, it's really ugly. Like, that's really ugly. Some things we do know, these are also motorcycles and boats and flying machines and yeah. So overall, not really expecting much out of this game. What I do want to see is that there's no area with a fixed camera. I think that was the biggest flop in Gen 8 because you could go to these cities, but you couldn't look around. You could go to these cities, you couldn't go behind the gyms, you couldn't actually explore like what you're supposed to do in a Pokemon game. And I really think that takes away from the experience, and I think that's something they got right in Arceus. Um, Arceus, you virtually never had a fixed camera. Where it was lacking, and that's probably more on the Nintendo Switch side of things, is just the overworld. You either had big groups of Pokemon, or you just had nothing. Like you were just walking through a desolate land, and all of a sudden, there would be a big group of Pokemon, and then you would make it past them, and then there would be nothing again. And I think that's a huge problem. I think the more realistic they're trying to make this game, to an extent, obviously it's nothing like the real world, but I imagine if it was, there would just be Pokemon in random places. You wouldn't just find them in huge groups everywhere. I don't think it works like that. They don't school together like fish, you know? Um, so anyway, let's go ahead and jump into some more trailers. So let's look at this.
The newest titles in the Pokemon series are the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games. These titles will be open-world RPGs, a first for the Pokemon series.
Which it looks like they're
sprawling landscapes
the
and
Arceus
vibrant
route
towns
already,
weave together to
just
form the
looking at this.
Paldea region, where your new adventure will unfold. These are the legendary Pokemon, Koraidon and Miraidon. You'll rely on one of them as a partner in your adventure. Climb on! And together you'll dash across grassy fields.
So my wonder on this, and I haven't heard much on it, obviously these are going to be some pretty early game legendary Pokemon, which is really weird. I don't know if I overall agree with having a legendary that early, but I mean, apparently it is absolutely needed because it's your bike. Um, So one thing I wonder, are these going to be Pokemon that can battle, or am I literally just using them like a scooter the whole time? Um, I don't know.
Move across water, and glide through the sky. Your partner can change forms as needed while you explore every nook and cranny of the region with them. You will be enrolling at a certain academy as a student. And a special independent study project awaits you, the Treasure Hunt. Through it, you'll embark on a journey to find treasure of your own here in Paldea. 3 grand stories are waiting for you. One story will revolve around the familiar gym battles. You'll go to 8 Pokemon gyms and aim for the champion rank. In these games, there is no set path you must take when challenging the gyms. Chart your very own course along Victory Road. The other 2 stories you'll experience hold many surprises and discoveries as well. Which story will you begin with? How will you progress through them? It is all up to you. Professor Sada and Professor Churro, research legends passed on in the Paldea region. Mr. Clavel is the director of the academy you'll attend. And Mr. Jacques is your homeroom teacher who teaches biology. You'll have your battle-loving friend, Nimona. And you'll meet Arvin, an upperclassman and a great cook. There's also Penny, a shy student in your grade. There are gym leaders too, like Grusha, the Ice-type gym leader. The people you meet in Paldea are sure to enrich your adventures. Many different species of Pokemon also call the Paldea region home. This Pokemon is the Paldean regional form of Wooper. It lives on the land and covers its body with a poisonous film.
That's
Fido
stupid.
are delightfully squishy Pokemon that are smooth to the touch. And here's Cetitan, which has a large body and a hard horn that can freeze its surroundings. Of course, we also have the Pokemon from which you'll choose your first partner, Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley. Enjoy meeting lots of Pokemon. And complete your Pokédex as part of your adventure.
So I want to talk about that for a second. Let's see if I can.
And
pause
complete
on
your
it.
Pokédex as part of your adventure.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here is a Pokedex very similar to Arceus. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of factors that are similar to Arceus. The overworld, which just looks recycled. The Pokedex now, which looks like this is basically an updated Pokedex from Arceus, where you're just filling in slots, and I really hope to God that it is not a similar structure where you don't complete the Pokedex entry unless you catch like 10 of them and you have to make them use moves, and like that was so stupid. It was so stupid, so pointless, and it took way more time than it needed to. I'm also seeing again on these legendary Pokemon, they're your all-purpose Pokemon. Kind of like how you had Wordier, or you had Braviary, or you had Basculegion to swim. I like the idea that HMs still aren't being used, because HMs were one of the worst things growing up. Having to put these things like Strength and Flash, and I mean Surf was splashable. It was good for water types at least. Waterfall was good for Gyarados, but Whirlpool, Fly, like these attacks you would never use in a competitive battle, but now you're forced to go through the Elite Four and things with them because you have no choice but to use them on one of your 6 to get through, to get to the Pokemon League, or to get to the next town. So where I think that's a step up, I think it's kind of silly to use a legendary Pokemon as your multi-tool in this case. I don't know if I keep seeing these things that look like Arceus, um, I tried to say the best things I could about Arceus. Overall, I gave that game like a 5 out of 10 just because it's missing so many factors. Just grind where it didn't need to be, and I'm just seeing that here. Like, what I'm seeing right now is that I'm probably gonna have to spend the first 3 hours doing useless shit before I can even get to the gym, or the first gym. And in my opinion, that's not fun. I just recently did another playthrough of Gen 8, and I forgot that it can take an hour and a half to 3 hours just because of all the stupid bullshit you have to do with Hop, or talking to Hop, or battling Hop. Do you see my pattern here? Um, just these silly things that don't need to be in the game, because overall it has nothing to do with the end game. Like, I think it's fine to buff a story, but I don't think this is how you do it. I think side missions are a good thing to do. If you're going to take up some time, get some decent rewards out of it, something like that. But grinding out a whole Pokédex, nobody wants to do that. Like, it's fine if you're just going to catch them and it updates to the Pokédex and boom, you're done. That's all it should be. Because you just caught that Pokemon, you're sending it back to the lab, they do the research and update the dex. You're not a scientist, you're a Pokemon trainer. Anyway.
By using the Union Circle, you can enjoy co-op play with up to 3 friends. You can go look for Pokemon you haven't yet discovered, or even ride together to race across the map.
So this actually looks kind of cool.
Enjoy all the
Finally being
Paldea
able to
region
do
has
these
to
things
offer with
together.
family and friends. The terrestrial phenomenon makes Pokemon shine like gems.
I'm sorry, this is terrible. And it looks so stupid.
All Pokemon in the Paldea region are able to terrestrialize, which can provide a boost to a Pokemon's type and make its moves stronger.
So it's just
Some
super
Pokemon will
stab,
change type
or
when they
just change type.
terrestrialize. What type they become seems to depend on that Pokemon's Terra type. For example, an Eevee would typically remain normal type after terrestrializing, but there could be Eevee that become grass or water type after terrestrializing. We hope you'll try to catch Pokemon with rare Terra types.
No, I don't think I will.
Pokemon that have rare Terra types are more likely to appear in Terra raid battles. You can challenge Terra Pokemon in these battles with up to 3 other trainers. This is a new kind of raid battle where you can attack or heal with your own timing without having to wait for your allies.
At least they took away the wait.
Try to cooperate with your allies to get the upper hand in these battles. After you successfully defeat a Terra Pokemon, you'll get the opportunity to catch it for yourself.
So nothing special here, just not having to wait on stupid players that take forever to make their moves.
We've kept all the things you love about Pokemon, while evolving the adventure you can have in Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We hope you look forward to the day you set out on your adventure.
Alright, still don't really see anything worth really going too far into. It's nothing really that special. Just the next gen of Pokemon with exactly the same um like same extra things you can do, like raids and whatnot. I think the aspect of finally getting to adventure with a friend is good. I think it's something the game's been lacking, but we'll see how well that even works, considering as early, or 3 years ago when Gen 8 came out, they had a code system that barely worked, and to this day still is pretty shaky. Um, I just feel like there should be so much more coming out in a game from this company, considering they're still one of, if not the biggest income in gaming right now. Um, it just feels like lazy design. I don't think anyone cares about this terastallizing, whatever the hell it's called. I think it looks stupid. I think it looks really stupid and brings really nothing special. Super stab or maybe a type change. So, I mean, take what you will with that, but it's not that special. It's not. Let's look at the full presentation now.
Hello everyone, I'm Utsunomiya from the Pokemon Company. In today's Pokemon Presents, we will be sharing information on several of our games, including the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games. But before that, I'm happy to share some news about the Pokemon World Championships that will be held in London, UK this year from August 18th to August 21st. Please have a look at this video.
Hello Pokemon trainers, I'm Chris Brown from the Pokemon Company International, and I'm delighted to share with you updates on our annual Pokemon World Championships. After 3 years, our global community will come together August 18th to 21st in London for not only intense Pokemon battles, but also to be together, celebrating old friendships and creating new ones, all in the spirit of friendly competition. We are expecting thousands of players from around the world to compete in this year's trading card game, video game, and Pokken Tournament Deluxe events. Many players had long journeys earning their invitation over several years, and we are thrilled to learn who will earn the title of World Champion in 2022. This year, we are also adding many new elements to the show, beginning with 2 new Pokemon titles. Please join me in welcoming Pokemon Go, where nearly 100 players will compete across 2 age divisions, and Pokemon Unite, where 16 teams from 11 regions will compete. These players have battled all year for their shot to earn the title of the very first world champion in these new categories. We also have a few surprises in store for fans
I've
attending in
destroyed
person,
some of those Unite
including
teams
our
before.
largest ever Pokemon Center World's pop-up shop. For those unable to attend in person, you can follow all the action from wherever you are on our dedicated live streams for each product, including coverage of every championship match for each age division. Pokemon tournaments are held around the world, and we hope the competition at the World Championships inspire many new players to make new friends through battling. And one more thing, it's my honor to unveil for fans today our new Pokemon World Championships Pikachu Trophy. Take a look. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in London, and now I would like to hand it back to Mr. Utsunomiya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. With the Pokemon World Championships returning after 3 years, please look forward to exciting battles to keep you on the edge of your seats. Now, I'd like to share some news about a few of our games.
Let's hear it, big guy.
For the first time in
Alright,
3
I don't
years,
think
we
anyone
held
cares about
in-person
this.
Pokemon Go Fest events in Berlin and Seattle.
Alright, so what do we got for Unite here? It's red. Oh, Masters.
Hey.
Can't say I don't think anyone cares about
An
that.
update on the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games.
Now, what everyone wants to see. I think we're going to be facing a lot of the same shit. A lot of hordes of Pokemon and then literally
Attention,
nothing.
please. Today we begin the treasure hunt. Travel across Paldea. Get to know the region. The abundant nature. The rich culture.
You can literally see how empty it is.
The Pokemon. And the people. Where will you go? Who will you meet? What will you achieve? With you will be your Pokemon. Journey together. Learn together. Grow together. Find something to treasure. Let the treasure hunt begin.
I'm sorry, I'm just not that hyped for
We're now
it. It
starting to get
doesn't
a
look
clearer
that great.
picture of your adventures to come in the Paldea region. I'd like to dive a little deeper into the information presented, so let's take a closer look together, shall we?
The newest titles in the Pokemon series are the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games. These titles will be open-world RPGs, a first for the Pokemon series. Sprawling landscapes and vibrant towns weave together to form the Paldea region, where your
Yeah,
new
it's-
adventure will
It's
unfold.
really not a first, though. Arceus is the same thing, and it already came out, so I don't know why they're saying that. And then the rest of this is what we've already seen. Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing really else to talk about. I mean, you can see just even in these still frames, just how empty these worlds are. Like, there's this fella here, Sea Titan. Then you look around him. Maybe it's because a battle encounter incurred, but even if there wasn't, I don't think there's much around there. It's just big, open, vast, empty area. Again, about the Pokedex, that looks like it's gonna suck. This is you and a friend running along in the multiplayer adventure, and look, there's nothing. There is nothing. And I'm sorry, but Terastal is terrible. It's stupid. I mean, it could be my bias because of how much I hated Crystal Beast and Yu-Gi-Oh, but I just, it doesn't give me anything to care about. I don't care about it. And it's like, oh, well, I can have a grass or water Eevee. Cool. Or I could have a Leafeon or a Vaporeon. You know, that whole evolution line they came out with for a reason. But sure, let me just throw an Eviolite on this useless Pokemon because I want to use it later, but never competitively. Again, a recycled feature. Recycled Hyper Beam. And there it is, just nothing special. Anybody who ends up seeing this, don't get your hopes up. Expect a mid to terrible Pokemon game with a non-unique battle system. Just nothing to look forward to here. I mean, new Pokemon, I guess. But you take that for what it is, and you consider all the regional Pokemon, which I think are an egregious waste. Like, why make a new form of a Pokemon when you could just make a new Pokemon of that typing? I was plenty happy with my original Primate. I was plenty happy with a Raichu. In fact, I'd argue that a Kanto Raichu is better than an Alolan Raichu because it can't get one shot by a Sucker Punch. So, take that for what you will, but I don't expect much out of this game. Um, with that being said, just wanted to give this new format a try. If you like it, send us your feedback, join the Discord, whatever you'd like to do. Either way, I'm an idiot in a pink suit. My name is Squeeps, and I will catch you next time.